Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery, and this is Wednesday, June 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern, and this is Masterclass Week 16, believe it or not. So this is actually our 4-month non-stop anniversary. In other words, we haven't missed a single week yet, which is great, and hopefully you guys are getting a lot out of this. So what's up, Adam and Marco?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey everybody, what's up?
All right, guys, we got a lot to get into today, as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the screen and go right into the presentation. And I got some really exciting stuff I want to show you guys today, and I'm really, really proud of what has happened in the last week. And so let's get into it. Tell me if you're seeing my screen, Adam. And just to be sure, did everybody check on the make sure the stream's coming through okay on the page?
Event page is good to go.
Okay, sweet. All right, guys, so as we said, this is week 5 of the local SEO case study. Okay, this is week 16 of Masterclass, but week 5 of the local SEO case study. And I told you guys that I was hoping to have this done within about 6 weeks. Looks like we're going to go to 7 or 8 weeks, but that'll be more on the prospecting end and landing an actual client. And then, like I said, I want to do a Q&A session, which we might do next week. So, you know, we'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit further into this presentation today, but or maybe we'll wrap up and do a Q&A session before we start the affiliate training. Maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll just end it with a strictly Q&A session or something like that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But today what we're going to cover is we're going to review what was done in week 4, so from last week to this week. By the way, the reminder that questions are welcome as we cover this. Guys, feel free to ask questions on the events page. Adam and Marco know to interrupt me if it's something that is specific to what we're covering. I'll be happy to answer it during that, make it a little bit more interactive. Okay. Maps review, we're going to talk about that. Website review and citations, additional details still to come. Those are the bullets we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the expense report, just glance over that very quickly. So I did spend some money between last week and this week, and I want to make sure that we are, you know, showing the accounting of the investment, and then goals for next week, and any leftover Q&A. All right. So initial results, guys. I got some crazy good stuff I want to show you here. All right. So and I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here. All right. So last week, if you remember, I had submitted my Google Plus local and Bing Maps local listings for verification, okay, and I was waiting for the postcards to come in the mail so that I could verify the listings, and I was unable to go get that done prior to last week for Wednesday, okay, so not a big deal. So I ended up going over the weekend. My daughter had her ballet recital on Saturday, and I was able to go up that way and pick up the postcard, and unfortunately the only one that was there was the Google postcard. The Bing card has not been delivered yet. It may be there now, but it wasn't there Saturday. So that one is still pending, okay? But I want you guys to see this in a minute when I show you the results. The Google listing, it was Saturday night when I got home. I had picked up the verification card, and I waited for her to go to bed, my daughter, and then I jumped on the computer, and because I wanted to verify that listing as quickly as possible, and I jumped on, and it was close to midnight. It was like 11, whatever, and I verified it then. I put my PIN code in, right? Clicked the verification button. Then I opened up another tab in Firefox, and I searched home remodeling Gainesville, VA, and lo and behold, I was already ranked in the 7-pack. So, I mean, within minutes of verifying it, that site was already ranked in Maps. And so I'm going to go through a couple of these here, and we'll take a look at these guys, and you guys can check these on your own. In fact, I'm going to grab the keyword list here in just a second and drop this in for Adam to post on the page. And you guys can go check these for yourself, and you'll see what I'm seeing. Okay, and also, Adam, I'm going to drop a link in there, which this is a ranking report from Bright Local.
Okay.
That I'm using for local ranking reports. And guys, we're not going to spend a lot of time on like looking through all of these, but I do want to show you a couple of them so that you see them. I am logged in with that account, but it shouldn't matter. So, for example, home remodeling Gainesville, VA. Let me turn off private, or I want to hide private results, right? So I'm going to click that. And if you take a look, guys, look, Gainesville Home Pros, #2 in Maps. Right, guys, I just verified this listing on Saturday night. And you see this, I'm in number 2 in maps. Now, the moment that I had verified it, I was actually at the bottom of the pack. Okay, so I was like, and I think the first one I checked on was kitchen remodel in Gainesville, VA. And guys, granted, this isn't the most competitive of areas, but who cares? You know what I'm saying? This is still worth money to a contractor, right? And I didn't have to do a lot of work other than the setup, guys, proper markup, which we talked about last week, which was the semantic markup, guys. That's very, very important and very, very powerful. Look how powerful it is, guys. You see this? This is for kitchen remodeling Gainesville. I'm number 2 in maps, number 2. See that? So again, when I first entered it in, I think actually I think I had checked home remodeling, and I was at the very bottom of the pack. At the time, it was showing. Guys, remember, maps listings vary now as far as like how many, whether it's a 3-pack, a 5-pack, or a 7-pack that shows. That varies from day to day, and so I think on Saturday when I was checking, it also varies by IP, for like where you are doing the search from. That will change the results as well. But like I said, I had checked on Saturday night when I first verified the listing, and I was at the very bottom of I think a 7-pack at the time, and that was for home remodeling, which we just looked at, and I think today it's displaying a 5-pack, right? Or yeah, it's showing a 5-pack, but I was at the very bottom of the 7-pack. So I was still excited as hell because I was in the top, I was in the 7-pack, and I hadn't done anything else other than build the site and mark it up properly, do proper silo. I did my interlinking properly. I built the IFTTT network around it, or I had my team build it around it. Just follow the same stuff, the blueprint that I've been telling you guys about through this local SEO case study, and everything worked out very, very well, guys. This is no citations, no link building to the site, other than just the first tier network, which we haven't even syndicated any content yet to, guys. These are just the sidebar links that point to the homepage, right? From like WordPress.com and Blogger and all that other stuff. Nothing else has been done, right? Okay, so this is pretty much 100% on-page SEO, and look where we're at. Number 2 in maps for now 2 terms: home remodeling, kitchen remodeling. Let's go check bathroom remodeling. Let's see where we are right now. Bathroom remodeling looks like I'm position C right now, and guys, these will vary, and you guys might be seeing a little bit of different results based on your IP, where you're at, and what the searches are for you. But that's okay. I'm not worried about it. But the point is we're consistently in that 7-pack. Here's basement remodeling. This one actually wasn't even returning maps results the other day, and it looks like I'm not even showing in the maps here anyways. But I've got videos that are ranking, so that's okay with me. Let's check basement finishing, and then we're going to check the broad term, which is just flat remodeling Gainesville. Basement finishing looks like, yeah, that's the one that's not returning a maps results, but I've got a video number 1 anyway, so not a big deal. So last one I'm going to check is remodeling Gainesville, VA, and we'll see where that has us, which that's the most broad of terms. And it looks like we're at the bottom of the maps, so we're in what, position 7? Yeah, that'd be position 7, Gainesville Home Pros, for the broadest of terms, okay? So very, very cool, guys, and for that we even got a video on page 1, right? And so again, with absolutely no off-page SEO yet, we already are ranked in the maps. I thought that was pretty exciting. I was very excited about that, and so I wanted to kind of go over that at first and just show that you guys, that is what can happen when you have your site built properly and you're on-page correct. Like, getting results like that are not uncommon when you have your on-page done correctly, right? Now, one other thing I want to talk about, and let's see where we are in the slides, because I know I go into that specifically. Initial results, Google, we're ranking. Bing, we're still pending. The Google Plus listing review. Okay, so yeah, this is a good time to talk about that. Let's go over here and take a look at the Google Plus listing. I'm going to open the page up, which is right here. And you can see that this is the page. I had done the social graphics and everything. This was done last week. You can see that I've got the brief description here. And then I added some additional photos earlier today, and I'm going to actually go into that a little bit more in detail today with you guys, because I want to talk to you guys about how you can optimize the images to get the best results, which are going to help you as well. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But in the meantime, let me go over to Google My Business. Okay, this is the dashboard for that page. All right, and I want to talk about something specifically that I honestly hadn't really thought had this much of an impact. But going back to the story that I was telling you about Saturday night when I verified this listing, and I noticed that it had already ranked for home remodeling in the maps listings. I had immediately, when I saw that, I jumped in, I went to another tab, and I started searching for kitchen remodeling, and it wasn't in the 7-pack, right? It wasn't on page 1. And then I checked bathroom remodeling, and it wasn't on page 1, okay? And so I wondered what the hell, I was still happy because it was already ranked for home remodeling, but it wasn't ranking for those. Well, when I had set up my listing, so let's go over here to edit, and I'll show you what I mean. When I had initially set up the listing, and you come down here where it says categories, guys, you select your category. By the way, guys, don't ever use custom categories like where you type in something that doesn't. You always want to use a suggested category, okay? So the category that I had selected was general contractor, okay? Because I looked at the other people that were listed in the 7-pack, and there's some in there that say like bathroom remodeling or bathroom remodeler. Others say kitchen remodeler. Others say kitchen cabinets, things like that. And honestly, I thought the best category to be in would be general contractor. And the reason why is because I don't want to limit myself to just being a kitchen. I don't want the site to be limited to just a kitchen remodeling company or a bathroom remodeling company. I want it to be able to do other, add additional stuff like gutters or gutter repair, landscaping if I wanted to. Deck building, home additions, anything that I want to add to this site, I wanted to be able to add. So I wanted to select general contractor. So the only category that I had listed was general contractor. All right, so when I first came over here and I saw that I was ranking for home remodeling, but I wasn't ranking for kitchen remodeling or for bathroom remodeling, I said, well, let me go back in and update my, and let me just test this. I just thought about it. I said, because I typically don't do that. Most of the lead gen sites, I just select one category and I just stick with that. But what's interesting here, guys, is I came back in, and you get to add a total of 5 categories if you want. So I could still add one more. I didn't find any that I thought were relevant enough beyond what you see here. So I just stuck with these. But I started looking at suggested categories, and I started just typing in different variations of stuff, and kitchen remodeler came up, and bathroom remodeler came up. So I selected those categories, and I clicked Save. And I went back over, and I searched kitchen remodeling Gainesville, VA, and immediately I was in the 7-pack. And so that really opened my eyes. See, I'm still learning too, guys. And what I'm saying is I didn't realize just how damn powerful those categories really are. Like I thought, and that's why, like I said, most of my lead gen sites, guys, I've just always been selecting just one category that I think best describes that business, and I haven't for years now, probably 3 years, have I ever gone back in and edited the categories to add additional categories beyond the first one when you set it up, right? And so now I've got on my to-do list to go back for several of my sites and go see if there's other categories that those sites will fit into, so that I can get more exposure for more keywords. That I might be missing out on traffic right now because I hadn't done that in years. Does that make sense? And what this did for me was, again, I went through and I tested. It was just general contractor. After I added kitchen remodeler and bathroom remodeler, I went back, and I mean, we're talking within 10 minutes of me searching the first time and then searching the second time after I added those categories, and I was, boom, in the top or in the 7-pack or the 5-pack, whatever it was showing, for both kitchen remodeling and bathroom remodeling. And the only thing I did different was I added those categories and I clicked Save. Does that make sense? So I just wanted you guys to know that those categories are very, very powerful. Make sure that you're selecting suggested categories, but I firsthand experience have seen it now how very powerful those are. Okay? Are there any questions coming through yet? Adam?
Let me take a look. I'll let you know.
Yeah, sorry, I had my mic muted. We're good to go for now.
Okay. All right, so categories have been covered. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is images and geotagging. All right, so guys, this is something that I know Scott, I believe, Rogers had asked about this, and so I wanted to cover this a little bit more in detail today about images. So let me go ahead and cancel out of here. I'm done editing. All right, so and also, did we talk about P.O. boxes last week? Because I know that I said I was going to, and I don't think I even put that in here. So let me double check this, and we'll talk about P.O. boxes. I need to actually add that. Adam, can you remind me to add P.O. boxes into the slideshow if we're going to talk about this a little bit today? just so when you replay it, they have it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about images first, and we'll talk about PO boxes, guys, because I know a couple people had questions, and I forgot to include that in the presentation today. Okay, so for photos, guys, there's a few things that you can do here that are really, really powerful for helping your local page, your maps page to rank, and that's to add geodata. Okay, so you guys know that, and I guess let's just walk through an example of this. Let me see if I can open up. Let me see if I can open up an image that we can use.
Real quick, BJ was just asking, I just want to confirm that this method will work primarily for businesses that deliver their service out of their offices, right? I would just say that's, yeah, I mean, so long as you have a location.
Yeah, if you have a physical location, like you serve customers at your location, then you certainly don't want to spam a maps listing, because that, you're going to have people showing up saying, where the hell are you? And like, you're not going to exist there, so don't do that. This works for when you service customers at their location, right? So you got to, if you're going to do a maps listing for a point of sale type business, you're going to want to have a real physical location there, right? All right. So anyways, let's go in here and let's see if I can find. You know what? We might have to go. Yeah, guys, just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna go grab an image from Google. I don't recommend doing that, but we're going to do that for demonstration purposes right now. So I'm going to click on search for remodeling as my keyword. I'm going to go to images. All right, and I want to use a big image. So let's say larger than 800 by 600. We're going to grab a large image here. All right. So, and like I said, I don't recommend doing this, guys. If you're going to do this, make sure that you're selecting an image by you go use search settings, go to advanced search, excuse me, and search by the proper license. Or free to use or share, okay? But in this case, for time's sake, I'm going to do this very quickly. This is not an image I would want on my maps listing because it shows construction. You want to show a finished result, so let's use this one. All right, so I'm going to open this link in a new tab. All right, that's not a good one. Let's go to another one. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. There we go. That's a big image. Okay, so what you can do with images, guys, is you can, okay, first of all, I recommend highly that you have real photos, like taken from a phone, a camera phone, or, a digital camera or something like that. I recommend that you use real photos and not use somebody else's photos, and I also don't recommend that you do screenshots of the photos. There's reasons why. And we're going to get into that as we go through this training about photos or images right now. But you're best if you have a real photo that you have. Now, let me tell you places that you can get that. You guys can do a Boolean search, which we've talked about in this training as well. So like in URL, and then you do Flickr, FLI, what is it, CR? How does, I'm not real, I don't do a lot of Flickr.
FLICKR.
CKR? I do in URL Flickr, and then you could do like remodeling or something like that. I have a search string somewhere.
I was going to say, too, can't you just pick by usage rights, or did you already say that?
Yeah, you can, but
Okay.
yeah, you can. You can do that too. So let's see. I don't know why that says that's not showing in URL. So that search string is wrong. I've got a, let's see. I'll find it. I'll try to dig it up. I've got a Boolean search string that you can use where you can download images from Flickr. Again, you got to worry about copyright stuff, but I'm just letting you know there's like certain things that you can do. But the reason why you want to use a real image is because there's EXIF data, which is EXIF. There's like metadata that cameras, signatures that cameras leave in the metadata of the photos that make it a real photo. Okay, so when you take an image like this, and you do a screenshot. So like if I do a screenshot image of this right now, it's going to be, first of all, a very small file compared to an actual photo. And number two, it's going to strip any of the metadata out of it because you're taking a new screenshot image. You're not using the existing file, right? So I recommend that you have a real file, a real photo file that you can use, okay? Because, and I'm going to tell you why when we're going to talk about Panoramio here in a minute, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and select that. Okay, so now I have that image saved right here, and so I do as I say, not as I do. is what I'm telling you. Okay, I don't recommend this way, but because of the demonstration, we're gonna do this. All right. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can add geodata and geotag meta tags to your photos. And one of the really powerful ways, now I haven't messed with Panoramio in probably 2 years, so it has changed a little bit. I actually created an account there today and started playing with it, but I did not have the proper images for Panoramio, and they have some changed their terms of use, and I didn't want to have the account shut down, so I'm going to drop these, Adam, on the in the chat box. If you can put these on the, we're going to talk about these. All right, so Panoramio, guys, the URL for that is panoramio.com. Adam's about to drop that on the events page for you. But this is the actual, once you create an account, and it's a Google product, guys. And in fact, if we go to the home page of this, you're going to see that, look, it's Panoramio and Google Maps. You see that, guys? So this is very, very powerful. But the only way that I recommend using this, like I haven't spammed this site in years. It's been like probably 2 years since I've spammed Panoramio. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't recommend spamming it now because I know that they've got a hell of a lot better at detecting spam photos. Like their algorithm can tell if it's a spam photo, and it can shut your account down. And I don't want that, right? So I don't recommend spamming it anymore. So if you're going to use Panoramio, which is very, very powerful, make sure you have real images, and that's why I talked about that just a few moments ago. Okay. So here is their Panoramio photo policy, and Adam just dropped the link on there as well. But if you go through here and you read what is acceptable and what's unacceptable, you'll see that screenshots are no good. Okay, so like right here it says screen captures are no good. All right, and also so taking a screenshot of an image like what we just did here, which works well for the other way that I'm going to show you. Okay, I don't recommend doing that for Panoramio. Okay, however, if you do have real photos, then I would suggest that you add your metadata to them. In fact, you can actually add metadata in with Panoramio once you've uploaded the photos. You can add like the geolocation metadata and that sort of stuff. And it's very powerful because what you can do inside of Panoramio is you can actually take photos and drop them on the map around your maps listing or where where your maps listing is located. And it will, and like for example, you can go to, let's walk through this real quick. We're going to try to run through this quicker. I don't know how much detail we'll get in with the other software that I'm going to show you guys, but it's free, so don't worry about that. But if we go over to Maps, and let's just, for example, say that we wanted to go search for the Gainesville area, which is where that site, Gainesville Home Pros is based out of, right? So we're going to say Gainesville, VA. Now this is going to give me the red outline of Gainesville, Virginia. I'll zoom out just a little bit. So this is showing in Gainesville, and there's Haymarket right next to it. But this is the Gainesville territory, the Gainesville area. So with Panoramio, you can drop photos through this area here. So like one here, one here, one here, one here, that sort of thing. And what that will do is it will end up reinforcing your geolocation and can help you to rank for like more competitive areas, guys. I've used that in the past, and it's worked really well. Again, it's been a couple years since I've used it, so I don't know how. I would only assume that it would still be, that it would probably be more powerful now than it used to be, and it used to work really well. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea there. If you have real photos, check out Panoramio and play with it, because you can drag and drop photos in certain areas, and it will attach them or pin them to the map, and insert the metadata and all that sort of thing. Like it creates like KML files and that, all of that. Very, very powerful. Okay. The other option, and what I did for this site build, was to use a tool called GeoSetter. And Adam dropped the link in there, but let's get back over here. It's called GeoSetter. It's a very simple tool. You can download it for free. And what you can do with that is you can actually edit your EXIF data and include like coordinates and that sort of thing. And so I still recommend that you have real photos if you can. Taking a screenshot is kind of just a black hat way. It's just a quick and easy way to get images. But I can tell you that Google's algorithm knows that you're using screenshotted images when you upload them to Google+. Now, I did that anyways. Full transparency, I did that anyways. But I can only tell you guys that I recommend that you use real photos instead. Okay. That said, let me show you what GeoSetter looks like. Very small program. It's free to download. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit geeky to use it, but it works well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is walk through very quickly how to add metadata to an image. Okay, so I'm going to take the one that I just took right here, and I'm going to go ahead and file save this as, and I'm going to call this one. I'm just going to call this one remodeling demo. However, you guys are going to want to put your keyword as your file type. You're going to want to make sure your image is a JPEG, because a PNG file won't allow you to edit the metadata. A JPEG file will. Okay, so it'll be a JPEG file. So I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to come over here to GeoCetter, and I've selected the folder for images. So if I go here and I say open folder, I can select my folders, and I've already got that image in this folder, so I'm just going to click the refresh button or double click it and see if it did not. So let me hit the refresh button, which is here and here. This is the one image here that has not been marked up. How can I tell? Because there's no maps pin in the top left corner. See that? Plus it's the same file name. But you can see that this one's missing data. So one thing that you can do is you can actually create favorites. So like, let's see, if we go up to File, and guys, I know I'm moving fast, but we're gonna, we got a lot to get through. So what I suggest doing is, if you're going to be marking up multiple images for one location with GeoCetter, excuse me, that you create a favorite location and fill out all your details that are going to be repeated in every image, like your location details and that sort of thing. And then there are certain fields that are going to be unique to every photo that you leave blank. And so what you do is you go to location favorites, and then you can go to add new, and when you add a new favorite, and again, this is a bit geeky, so even I have a little bit of time going through here. So here's a new one: add or edit a favorite. What you can do, what I would suggest doing though, is like first, let's just say you do it in the search bar down here. This is what I would do. Okay, go to the search bar down here and type in your location, your address, right? So in this case, it's 14689 Lee Highway. Gainesville, VA 20156, and it's auto-completing because I had already typed it earlier, right? So if I hit search, now it's going to show a maps listing. Now see, I've already got it saved as a favorite. But from there, you can click add or edit, and then you can edit this, and you can add in additional information. Like this stuff won't be filled out. You can fill this out yourself. You can put keywords in here. You can see I've already done it. I put in bathroom remodeling, countertops, home remodeling, kitchen remodeling, and remodeling, right? And I could have put renovation in there too, and I didn't. Okay, but anyways, then you click OK. Now you've got a favorite saved that's going to have all that data. So then when you select your folder that has your images in there, you just click on the image, or you Control A to select all, which is what I recommend, so that you do it all at once. But let's just go back to click this one because the other ones are already done. And you'll see a little icon up here that's for editing the file, which I believe is this one. Yeah, edit data. Okay, so now from here, this is where you can add in all of your different data sources, all the metadata. You can see there's a bunch of stuff here that you can add, right? We can go to location, put location data in here, decimals, the latitude and longitude, right? So your coordinates, right? You can put in categories and keywords. You can put in contact details, which would be your NAP, guys. See that? Your URL, email address, phone number, all that. All of this is data that you can add to this. So once you've created a favorite, then you can actually add image. Let's see if we go back and let's see. There should have been a favorites drop down right here. Favorites drop down. You see I've added that favorite. So if I click that, it's going to automatically fill out some of the information, right? Okay, so then from there you can go over and you'll see the category keywords that I added when I set up the favorite listing are now over here. So they're going to automatically be appended as meta tags to that image. And I just put all of them in. You guys can get specific if you want. I recommend that you use LSI keywords, okay? But for speed purposes, I did this. Contact info, here's where you can put the NAP, okay? From here, you can put the phone number up here. This is the address. Fill out all this stuff. Then you can put the URL, right? So, for example, this is the remodeling demo. So I could actually put, in fact, if we were to close this down for a minute, and let's go like open up this one. Let's open up this one. You'll see that I have in the contact field, the same page we were just looking at for the other image, you can see I've got the NAP here, and then I've got the actual image, or it looks like it might have actually truncated it. I wonder if it truncated all of them, because I was actually linking to the, let's check it. Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, I was actually putting in the URL to that specific page that corresponded with that photo. You know what I'm saying, or that category, and it looks like it's only allowing the root URL. So that's not a big deal because we can still add that later. But the point is once you've added all the stuff that you want to add into the images, you click OK, and then you want to come up to the images and click on Save Changes to selected images or Save Changes to all images. And in this case, I don't think we made any changes, so let's just add something in here real quick. Say, let's just leave it at that for now. Add the favorites back, and we're going to click OK. Now we can see that it added that data, and now if I click Save Changes of selected images, it's going to say, and it gives me this error. I don't know why it's done that for years, but I click OK, and now if we actually go open that image, guys, inside of, let's see, that's going to be on my desktop. Just one moment. GeoSetter, right here. Remodeling demo. If you open this up, guys, and you take a look at the properties in Windows, if you're on a Mac, I can't help you. I have no idea what to do with Mac, so I can't help you there. But if you're in Windows, you right-click on it, and this message box or dialog box that opens up, you click on Details, and you'll see some of the tags here, and plus you'll see the geo coordinates down here. You see that? Now, guys, you remember in when we were talking about editing the metadata of video files, if you're uploading the traditional upload to YouTube, that you can edit the data file, the metadata, well, you can do the same thing here. So this is the XF information I was talking about, that your camera is like the signature of your camera. This will all be filled out if it's a real photo. If it's a screenshot, it's not. It's empty. And that's why I said this is important, because Google can tell whether you're using a screenshot or not. Okay? But in this case, we're going to use it anyways because we don't have any other options. But here is where you can add in additional stuff, like the author, for example. I could put Gainesville Home Pros here. I could put the persona's name if I wanted. I could add, the date acquired. I could put a date in there. So that's just adding a little bit more information in there. All of that is important. Copyright. You could put the business name in there again. You could put a URL in there if you wanted. Okay, so this is just all additional information you can put in there. Title, subject. The title and subject you can actually set with inside of GeoSetter. Okay, and then lastly, there's a comment section, and this is another place right here where I will put the actual NAP. So I'll do 14689, Lee Highway, number 574, Gainesville, VA, 20156, whatever, and then the phone number. So I'll actually put the NAP there as well. Click OK or Apply, and you'll actually see the file size increase because you've added metadata to it, so the file will get a little bit bigger, and now you know that it's done. Okay, so I hope I didn't spend too much time on that, guys. GeoSetter, like I said, it's a bit tricky navigating it, but once you play with it a little bit, you'll get the hang of it. And the important thing is to set up a template or a favorite when you first starting a new location, so that you can quickly fill out all the files with the standard data for that location, and then you just go in and customize per photo, individual specifics or details. Does that make sense? All right, so it's very cool, very quick and easy to use. It's just a little bit buggy or a little bit hard to learn how to use. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and keep moving. I know we wanted to talk about, last thing, guys, just when you're in the Google My Business section, where it says Manage Photos or Add Photos, is what you want to do is click on that. And now there's actually, and I know that Sergey can talk about this because he's a, a My Photo Tour, whatever guide for, like he does that kind of stuff for businesses. He's certified by Google to do it. So he could actually chime in on the events page and talk about how, like, some of the stuff is pretty cool. But they got product photos, they got team photos now, guys. If you have a real business instead of just like a a lead gen thing, guys, fill this stuff out. Put stuff in there because that's going to give you an edge over the other people that don't. Okay, so like add a photo of the employees. Like if you're doing local client consulting, go tell the owner that you want photos of them and their staff. Say, look, send me 5 photos of you and your staff, and you're going to add, it says add at least 3 photos, right, showing your management team and your employees. So add them. Tell them, send me at least 3. Send me 3, 5, 6, whatever photos, and I'll pick them. And guys, what can you do with those photos? You can go back and add metadata to them, right? You can go over to Panoramio if you've got real photos and add them to Panoramio, right? So think about that. Very, very powerful. If Google gives you this, fill it out, right? Okay, so I don't have team photos and product photos. I don't know if it's kosher to put home remodeling, bathroom remodeling, and kitchen remodeling as product photos. It may be. I haven't tested it yet. But right now, I'm not going to mess with it because we're already ranking well, right? So I might test that on the next build that I do because I'm going to probably continue building out on this local home pros net. I'm probably going to target another city here, like within the next couple weeks, start building out another city because this one's damn near done, right? So anyways, all right, now let's talk very quickly about the P.O. box, and then we're going to continue on because I know we're getting, we're about halfway through, and we still got a lot to get through. P.O. box, we had a couple questions about that. All right, and I'm going to run through this very quickly. I'm using P.O. boxes because you can fill out an additional form. I know in the mastermind last week, somebody dropped a link that showed that there was an article or something. Adam, if you can you jump over to the mastermind replay page and see if you can find that link? It's going to be near the end of the mastermind.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, somebody dropped a link to it, but you guys can go to the U.S. Post Office, if you're in the U.S., obviously, and you can rent a P.O. box, and then you fill out an additional form. It doesn't cost you any additional money. You fill out an additional form that will allow you to use a street address with a box number. Instead of listing your address as P.O. Box, which you can't do in Google Maps anyways, you can list the street number or the street address of the post office itself, and then you use the pound sign, and they're very, very particular when they're like the suit Nazis when they tell you this, but they want you to use the pound sign or the number sign and then the box number itself, not unit, not suite, nothing like that. It's supposed to be the street address, pound sign, number. That's how the format is. Okay, so in this case, this NAP for this site, the Gainesville Home Pros, is 14689 Lee Highway, number 574. Gainesville, VA 20156. That's the address for this site.
Real quick, I've got the resource. I'm going to put it on the event page.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Adam. Adam's going to post that link to the resource that somebody dug up for us during the mastermind last week.
And that was Wayne Clayton, to give him credit.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Wayne. So anyways, guys, like I said, and it's funny because I've got dozens of mailboxes all over Virginia for this for lead gen sites, and probably 80% of the time that I go into a P.O. box or a post office to get a P.O. box set up that way, the people that I talk to don't even know that that's available. Their own damn employees don't even know that that's available, and I usually end up having to request to talk to the supervisor, and then the supervisor comes out, and the supervisor generally knows and goes, oh, yeah, we got that here. Let me go get you the form. And then that's when they give you the lecture about being very specific on how you format your address. But that's it. So you might have to educate the post office person that you're talking to and ask for the supervisor before you'll be able to do it. But trust me, it's there and it doesn't cost anything. And they have to let you do it because it's part of their, it's just that they have to let you do it, right? It's available. A lot of their post office people don't know about it apparently. So it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It is still working. I know that they say that you're not supposed to do that and all that kind of stuff. Whatever, it's still working. I'm still going to use it while it's working, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper, guys. I've used I've used UPS stores in the past, rented a box. I've also gone with the mom and pop shops, which is Joe Troyer talks about using the independents instead of the chains and that sort of thing. And I get that, but I've spent $30 a month renting a mailbox where I can get mailboxes for example, this Gainesville one was $56 for the year. I get it for 12 months for $56. Okay, I've got several P.O. boxes in that one in the Gainesville post office for different businesses. All right, so my point is it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It's a lot more economical. Now I know other people that do lead gen stuff will tell you just to rent a box for 3 months or 6 months and then to let it go. I don't. I pay because I'm paying less. I continue paying for the P.O. boxes as long as that lead gen site is up, because I've only had it happen one time, guys, in 5 years now. I've only had it happen one time where I've had to have a re-verification by mail, but it did happen, and so because of that, I keep the P.O. box current. I pay for it regardless. It's just a small price to pay to guarantee to have that insurance, right? It's a very small price to pay. So you guys make your own decision if you want to do that or not, but that's how I do it, and it's just to guarantee that I have that ability to re-verify by mail if needed. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving. Hopefully you guys got that. Oh, also there is you can, by the way, you can set up a USPS.com, so an online account, and actually reserve post office boxes right from being online. You just have to go to the location location to fill out the paperwork. And I think for those of you that want to like set up PO boxes that like maybe you're across the country or whatever, you guys aren't within driving distance to that PO box, they have a way to remote like to actually set up complete the PO box rental via long distance or whatever. And I don't know whether it's through the U.S. Postal Service or courier or what it is, but I know I think that you can have just a because I haven't done it. I've always just done the stuff in Virginia where I've driven to them. If I've gone out of state with to do local lead gen setup maps listings, I've hired somebody from Craigslist to do it for me. But if you want to do it yourself, which I would say that's probably the best way to do it, is do it yourself. I know that there's a way that you can verify and actually rent the box without having to go to the location. So just talk to the post office about it, and they'll tell you how to do it. I'm pretty sure that you could probably have the documents. You could download the documents, the PDFs, and then go to a notary and get everything signed in front of a notary, and then send the documents back, and they'll probably allow you to set it up that way. That's probably how it works, but I don't know. I just know that it's possible because it says something about it right in the USPS.com website when you go to rent a PO box.
Bradley, real quick, we're getting several questions. The first one from Scott is, say, for a PO box, does it have to be in the main city you're targeting, or can it be a surrounding city?
Well, it depends on what you want to rank for. I mean, like I said, for example, it's best to have a PO box in the actual city that you want to rank for. But like I said before, and like what I'm doing with this Gainesville site, guys, like the Manassas is the neighboring site, right? So Manassas is right. If we back up here, let's just back up one. Manassas is right here. This is the bigger area, right? This is where I'd get more traffic and everything else than Gainesville. So, but what I recommend doing is with this method, guys, is see how quickly I was able to get results with this site, guys. By pretty much just good on-page SEO, and I'm already ranked near the top in maps for most of my keywords. Think about that. So what I recommend doing is setting up outside your main city that you want to target a listing and get started with that so that you can get some traction and start building authority. Again, if you're using the subdomain method like what you see for this site, it's on a subdomain, then once you've got some traction with the site, then you can actually go and build a second site on another subdomain. So let's say I wanted to do Manassas next. I do manassas.localhomepros.net. Right, and then set up another mailbox listing here, and by then you've already got some authority built, so you're going to have, it's going to be easier to rank there, and because it's going to be tougher to rank for here than it would be here, right? It's going to take more work. But if you've already got a site that you're building authority to that's gained traction somewhere else, you're going to be in good standing. It's going to make it easier than starting from scratch. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and let's see. The next one is Chris is asking: is a PO box in your name or the business name?
It's in my name. Well, no, I signed for it personally, but it is in the business's name. So, in other words, the mail that gets sent there goes to Gainesville Home Pros.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Just to clear that up for everybody, it's not going to Bradley. It's not addressed to Bradley. It's addressed to the business.
To Gainesville Home Pros, right?
Yep. Let's see. Valerie's asking about other places. She specifically mentioned mailboxes, etc., which I know is like a chain of mail type places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no experience with anything other than the USPS.
Yeah, I mean, you can use those, but I don't recommend using chain mailbox places, first of all. Honestly, I just don't. They're expensive anyways. A lot more expensive than the post office. Just go to the post office. It's going to be cheaper, and less people know about that. Less spam SEOers know about the ability to use that. So that's why I like using them, just because other people don't know about it. Here I am opening my big mouth, though. But my point is that it's cheaper and less people know that that's a possibility to use that, and so you're gonna have, in my opinion, get better traction. So I recommend doing that. If you are gonna go with other places for your mailbox services, then do like what other people suggest, and that would be to go with independent places, not chains, like mom and pops.
Sounds good. All right, that wrapped it up.
All right, cool. Because we got a lot to get through, and we're gonna have a hard time getting through all this again.
Yep.
All right, so guys, we're going to go over the website review, a couple things that I want to talk about, and we're going to try to run through this quickly too. But page speed, guys, page speed is a huge ranking factor now. A lot of people are unaware of that. And I actually tested a different method on this site, and there's a couple things that I want to point out about page speed. GT Metrics, guys, is a site that you can go to analyze your page speed and how fast your site loads. Okay, and it's gtmetrics.com. In fact, let me grab these resources, Adam. You can drop these on the page. All right, so gtmetrics.com, that is a site where you can test the page speed of your site. And in fact, let me just jump over here, and I know I already had a test run, but I'll show you guys so you can see it firsthand what it does. I copy this, paste it in, click go. And this will take a couple seconds while it analyzes your site, and then it's going to give you a score. It's going to give you 2 scores, okay? And by default, most WordPress themes are very poor at loading quickly, okay? And a lot of that has to do with the WordPress theme itself and how it's coded, okay? A lot of them are coded very poorly for page speed. There's also how you add images to the pages. One thing I'd recommend highly is that when you go to add photos to your pages, that you resize them before upload to the correct size before uploading them, and don't use the WordPress native image editor to take a big photo and make it small to fit on the page. Don't do that, because I don't know if you guys know this, but that whole image loads when the page loads, but it only displays the smaller version of it. So that image actually slows down your page load. Because it takes a while for, like, especially large photos, for them to download. So you're much better off taking an image and resizing it outside, like in an image editing software. I use Snagit. I don't even know how to use Photoshop. I don't want to either. I use Snagit for all my image editing stuff, which is very simple to use. But I resize it to the correct size, like 300 by 400 by 300 or something like that, whatever it may be, and then upload it to WordPress so that it's already the correct size. Right, and it's a bit of pain in the ass because sometimes you upload an image and it's not, like, it pushes the text off funny in some way, and so you got to go back and delete it from the media library and then go edit it again and then upload it again, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but the benefits that you get in speeding up your page speed is worth it. Okay, so highly recommend that, number one. But there are certain things that I noticed that can slow a site down, and this one I optimized, and I did a couple things. I set up a content delivery network. Guys, there's several different plugins that you can use that are called caching plugins, which will speed up your site, and then they can also integrate with CDNs, which are content delivery networks and that sort of thing. They can help to speed up your site. I've tested a bunch of them, and I was using W3 Total Cache for a long time in setting up CDNs, and I've done full trainings on them, guys. It's on my channel, my Bradley Benner YouTube channel. You guys can see them there. But, like, for example, I've got videos on there that will tell you guys how to set and configure W3 Total Cache, and also how to set up a CDN using Amazon CloudFront, and which is a bit technical, or it's a bit geeky. It's not hard. You just got to follow the steps properly to set it up right. And you can really speed up a site and get really, really good results using those two. But it does take time. It takes probably close to an hour to set up W3 Total Cache properly, and then a CDN through Amazon CloudFront. It takes about an hour to do it, and that's a lot of time, especially if you're doing a lot of sites. So I started testing some other methods, and I found a plugin that I just started testing. It's called Rapid Ranker. I just dropped the link, or Adam just dropped the link for you, but it's called Rapid Ranker, and it's a very simple caching plugin, but it works really, really well. And I was able to improve my scores from, like, the 70s over here and the 60s over here up to the mid 80s over here, and this was in the mid 70s on this side. I should have taken screenshots, but I didn't. Anyways, with just enabling the Rapid Ranker plugin. And so, for example, if I come over here and see, guys, you'll see how simple this plugin is. I'm going to click on this. There's only a couple options. There's the basic. There's the advanced options if you have, there's certain things that you can do, and there's training videos with this plugin, guys. So don't ask me to give you training on it when you can go through the videos yourself. There's a CDN if you enable CDN, which I did, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then there's just the tools, which is just like to clear cache and stuff like that. And then you can actually export your settings so that you can use the same settings on subsequent sites or sites that you build beyond your first one. So it's a very simple plugin. If you go into W3 Total Cache, guys, you have to be a technical geek get through that plugin. There are so many options and so many settings, and like you can spend hours playing through it, playing with it, and breaking stuff on your site, and then when you enable stuff, and then you have to go disable it. Again, it's just real geeky. This is a hell of a lot easier. I think I paid $47 for it, I got an unlimited license, and it made, like, I got this set up, including the CDN, in about 20 minutes. And my site went from, like I said, the low, it was around the mid-70s here and the mid-60s here. I got it to 91 and 86 by doing nothing really else other than enabling that plugin and then setting up a CDN through Max CDN, right? And I'm not going to walk through that either. Max CDN has great help files, but I wanted to talk about page speed because that is an important ranking factor, okay? And so if you want to make sure that you're going through your sites and optimizing them for fast page load time, and some of the things that you're going to find that are going to really slow down your page loads are social icons. So, like, for example, I had on the site, excuse me, if you guys remember from last week, this right here was I had a widget that I called was a plugin called Social Stickers. Social Stickers, excuse me, allowed me to put in like almost all of my IFTTT network links, and the social icons would show up here. And I like to do that. However, those social icons, they load separately because they're part of the actual link. And so there's several things that it does. Like, they load really slow, number one, so it'll slow your site speed down. Number two, you can't put alt text in the images and stuff like that because you have no control over those icons. So, excuse me, that'll give you kind of like a lower SEO score if you use like SEO scoring stuff. I don't, I usually don't pay attention to that, but for page speed purposes, it really slows the site down. And in fact, if we can't, so by the way, I removed that because my page load speed, one of the things that was causing such poor performance was that. And you can find out what's causing your site to have low scores by clicking on the timeline button. And then right here, it's going to show each one of the files, which file it is that's loading in the timeline and how long it took to load, guys. You can scroll through here and look. And I had a block because I had, I don't know, like 9 or 10 of my IFTTT network properties showing in that widget. Tumblr and Twitter and Digo, Delicious and About.me and Google Plus and Yahoo, YouTube and Facebook. All of those icons were showing in this widget area. And so there was a block of really slow loading. The bar was real far to the right of images that were taking a long time to load, and they were all social images. So I removed them. Okay, I removed them, and that helped speed my site up. And so now this is just a contact us with a little bit of text, and then this is actually an image with the transparent background that I overlaid on the site, and that helped to speed it up. Okay, so that's really important. Now, something else that slows down the site is scripts. What I mean by scripts is like tracking scripts, for example, like analytics code. If you're using like Pywick or something else as some sort of other analytics tracking. In fact, I'm testing a service called SERP.net or SERP.com or something. It's an SEO suite of tools, like a cloud-based SEO suite, and they have a plugin that integrates with the site. In fact, I don't know if it's showing in here or not. Yeah, SERP.net, that's what it is. It's an expensive tool, guys. It's just something I'm testing. It does like rank tracking and all this other stuff all within like one dashboard. But it has a web analytics code, which is it uses Pywick instead of analytics. And so I thought I'd test it. But the Pywick code slowed the page load so much that I disabled it. I removed it. I said, screw that. Analytics code loads faster, and I'm not gonna slow my site speed down so that I can use something other than Google as my analytics tracking, when I can just use Google Analytics and it loads fast. Okay, so I just completely ignored, disabled it. I don't plan on using Pywick now because it really slowed the page load down. All right, last part of this, and I know we're running out of time, but the CDN, guys, is a content delivery network. Don't have time to go into that too much as far as what it is, but what it does is it will host files from your website on other servers, so that when your server or when a browser calls your page, it will actually import or call the image files from multiple locations instead of one, which would be your host normally, so that it can load the page much faster, because now it's loading the page from multiple inputs instead of from one input, which would normally be your host. And so CDNs are great for that. They can help your page load time to decrease your page load time a lot. And plus, it's also good for like security purposes. There's a lot of reasons why CDNs are good. Like I said, I've always used Amazon CloudFront in the past, but I decided because Rapid Ranker integrates with Max CDN. I have never used Max CDN before, but because I purchased this plugin and I wanted to test it, I set up a Max CDN account. It cost $9 per month, so it is a little bit of an expense. But it was dead simple, easy to set up, guys. And they have great help files. It took me like literally 10 minutes to walk through for the very first time setting up a CDN, and integrating with this plugin took me, like I said, total of about 20 minutes in total, and I was able to bring my site speed up to 91 and 86, which in my opinion is good enough. I don't need to do anything else. Okay? So guys, I highly recommend that. I've dropped the link in there. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Analytics. We're going to talk about this very quickly because we're running out of time, and let's see what we had coming up. Unfortunately, we still have a lot to go through, but we're not going to get to all of it, so we're going to have to push that till next week. Analytics, guys, there's a couple articles I want you guys to take a look at about adjusted bounce rate. Guys, bounce rate is also a part of the ranking algorithm now. This is important. Adam, if you can drop those, please. I want you guys to take a look at those articles. They're great articles about adjusted bounce rate, what they are, and then the other one is actually from Google's analytics, the Google Analytics blog, and it talks about how you can use the adjusted bounce rate, or it's a piece of code that you add to your analytics script. I always called it an event tracking script, but I know that's probably not the proper term for it. It has to do with your adjusted bounce rate. And it can lower your bounce rate scores considerably by just adding one line of code. And again, it's listed right in those two articles, guys, so I'm not going to walk through that. What I am going to walk through, though, is if you guys remember, I talked about using a plugin for analytics that I've just always used this plugin. I've always liked it, even though, like, if you go to the plugin, let's go to install plugins. It's called Analyticator, Google Analyticator. Okay, and if you take a look at the details, you're going to see that, like, it doesn't have the highest star rating. It's got a 4-star rating, but it's updated often, and I've always used it, and I've just really liked it. And part of the reason I liked it was because it made it really easy to integrate with analytics. And also, if we close out of here and we go to the dashboard, it puts an analytics widget right here in the dashboard so that I can see when I log in traffic and stuff like that. Okay, but what I want to talk about was adding that one line of code to adjust your bounce rate. There are some plugins that will do that. Like, one of them is called Reduce Bounce Rate, or it's called Bounce Rate Reducer or something like that. It's one of those terms. But I actually was testing that, and for whatever reason, it's not working like it should. It's actually putting that line of code above the analytics script, which means it won't work. The line of code has to go in the actual analytics script or below the analytics script. It can't go above it, and for whatever reason, that plugin was doing that, so I wasn't getting the benefits. And so what you can see here is spam traffic. It's called referral spam, and that's because it was showing this and it was showing real high bounce rate. You can see a 66.54 bounce rate. So there's a couple things we wanted to do, and one of them was I disabled that bounce rate reducer plugin, and I ended up going over to the Google Analytics plugin. If we click on that, this is again, it's called the Google Analyticator with an OR. If we scroll down on this settings page, it's only one page. And we scroll down, you can see that there is an additional tracking code after tracker initialization box right here, and this is the one line of code, which is in those two articles, guys. And there's, if you notice in the articles, it's the highlighted line of, or the bolded line of code. That's the only thing you need. It's this track event code right here. And you'll see that it's by default it's set at 15 seconds and 15,000 milliseconds. I set it down to I set it to the minimum, which is 10 seconds or 10,000 milliseconds. So that means if somebody stays on the page for 10 seconds, then it's going to count as a non-bounce, even if they do click the back button. If that makes sense. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to show you that this plugin makes it really easy to just add that one line of code, and I've actually gone and viewed source code and everything and made sure, and it's actually, this piece of code is added inside the script for the Universal Analytics script. Okay, so it is working. All right, now it is working. The other plugin that I had installed, Reduce Bounce Rate, was not. I know we're almost out of time, but we got to talk about one more thing, and then we'll talk about citations too. Adam, we're going to go a couple minutes over because we're going to get through this one slide, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
All right, one more thing I want to talk about for analytics. You'll see, guys, if we come over to analytics and click on all traffic and I look at channels, you're going to see, and this is why I knew, this is where I discovered today that bounce rate reducer plugin was not working, is because if you take a look at this, I'm looking at direct, in fact, let's go to the overview because you'll see a graphical representation of it. you'll see that I've got direct traffic 205, referral traffic 38 visits, and look at my bounce rate. It's huge, right? And that's shitty. I don't want that, right? I don't want that. I want to get my bounce rate down, like 30% or less if possible. All right, so I was taking a look at this, and that's when I realized if the bounce rate plugin was working properly, then I shouldn't be seeing this, number one. And number two, also the referral spam traffic. If we take a look at referral traffic, for example, we'll see that you'll see this, guys, a lot. If you've got analytics, you'll see this kind of crap on your own sites, I guarantee it. This one, free-social-buttons.com, and it's on 4 different subdomains here. You'll see that that's spam traffic. It's referral spam traffic, and it's garbage, and it will skew your results and your analytics. So get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of it, you can set up like HT-access blocking scripts and stuff like that. Personally, I just filter this shit out. Pardon my bad language, but this annoys the hell out of me because you got to do it on every site. But I just set up a filter, and I'm going to walk through setting up a filter very quickly. Another one is Darodar.com. You'll see this a lot. This one's almost on every single site. You'll see that. This is a new one I haven't seen recently, but it just popped up on this one. It's called Event-Tracking. So this is another one. This is one I haven't set up yet, so we're going to do that right now so you guys can see how to set up a filter. All right, so guys, from inside your... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope, sorry.
Okay. From inside your analytics, we want to go up to Admin, and you'll see that I'm on the correct property here, okay, because I've only got it set up as Home Pros. What I want to do is click on All Filters. You can see I have Darodar set up and freesocialbuttons.com set up to exclude those results. And I just added this a couple days ago, so that's why you are still seeing some of that the data in there. But I'm going to set up a new one now for, what was it, Event-Tracking. So for here, the filter name, I'm just going to use the actual domain name of the domain that I want to block or filter out. So I'm going to put that in there as the name. I'm going to use a predefined filter type to exclude, and I'm going to select traffic from ISP domain, and then I'm going to paste the domain in there. I'm going to say all web data, click add. Now I'm going to click save, and let's see, exclude traffic from ISP domain. Maybe it's because I pasted it in there, didn't like it. Let's try that again. Why is this not letting me do it? Let's try that again. Oh, I'm sorry, that ends with. That's why I didn't have that. That end with. I want to say that end with. And why do I say that? Because if it has any subdomains, like you guys saw on the freesocialbuttons.com one, there was like 4 different subdomains coming from the same root. So that's why I selected that end with. Now it'll save. Okay, so now it says saved, and now you'll see event-tracking.com excluded. Right? So now going forward, it's not going to show this in the actual analytics, so it won't skew my results. Okay? So I just wanted to get through that. Now, the last thing, and then we'll just we'll take a couple questions, guys, and we'll have to push the rest of this till next week. Citations. Okay, so you guys see that we're already doing really, really well in Google for and Maps for this listing, with absolutely no citations built yet or any backlinks other than the IFTTT network tier 1, which has no syndicated content yet. So we're not going to need a lot for this, and so why I'm not going to force a bunch of additional off-page SEO on this when it doesn't need it. If it's already ranking well, guys, we're going to move on to the next project, which will be the affiliate stuff. And what I'm probably going to do is start building out another local site on this same root domain for another city. Okay. So, anyways, just to let you know, there's the citation package that I did purchase, and we're going to talk about the expenses real quick. If we look at the expenses, I ordered citation package for this for $219. That's a bit more money than I usually spend, but it's because I wanted to test out a new service, one that Holly Cooper actually pointed out inside of her course. It's called Loganix, and I wanted to check it out, so I went ahead and decided to use that service on here. Let me grab these links real quick and drop these at them. Typically, the source that I use for citations, guys, is Marketer Center. So let's go take a look at that real quick. This is Andrew Scherer. I know, I've chatted with him many times. I've been buying citations from him for like, I don't know, for a long time now. And he's probably Marketer Center. Andrew Scherer owns this and operates this. And basically, he does white label link building. So you can be a reseller. He doesn't have an affiliate program, I already know, and I've already asked. But his prices are low enough that you can resell them. And he'll do white label reports for you so you can put your own branding on them and everything else. Really, really good guy, great service, and the prices are really good too. I've been using him for a long time for all my citation buildings. There's a couple different citation building packages that you can purchase. I've tested several of these. I typically go with hyperlocal citations and big citations. I've tested the rich media citations, and they're pretty good too if you need it. Usually by the time I'm done with hyperlocal citations and big citations, I'm where I want to be, so I don't really need those. Those are just for more like tougher and competitive stuff. Guy's a great guy. By the way, when we have our SERP space, when we launch our SERP space network management and marketplace application, we were going to have Marketer Center's citations integrated directly into our dashboard to where you can order right from within our dashboard, and all of your company details and everything will be submitted through our dashboard directly to him. So you guys just know that this is going to be available. However, that said, I did want to test out this service. It's called Loganix, and it's a bit more expensive, but I went through their sales pages and stuff like that and took a look at everything, and they have some pretty powerful packages here. And if you go through, guys, and you take a look at this, like, and you go through and read some of the stuff on the site, that's good. These people know what they're doing, and so I decided that I wanted to give it a try. I went ahead and spent the $219 for this package right here. Which, it's funny because I went ahead and ordered this the same night that I verified my listings, and honestly, if I'm ranking as well as I am already, I bet you by the time that this package is done and has time to index, because they build additional links to the citations, which is what I was going to do with GSA or FCS and GSA anyways, right? Well, now I don't need to. I don't need to pay Dedia to do that when they do that all wrapped up in this package, right? So I'm hoping that this does really, really well. I will report back to you guys and let you know what I think when I get the finished report. So far, the communication from this company has been great. I think it might well be worth the effort. They've also got some additional things. I'll report back to you guys when I have more data. But I just wanted to point that out to be transparent with you what it is that I'm doing. And last thing I want to talk about is on another one of my lead gen sites. I'm not going to reveal which one, but I was testing another service that I looked into that I thought I wanted to try. It's called VitaRank. And I was testing I bought a package from their service for one of my other lead gen sites, and they started it already. And it's I put an asterisk here, guys, because I wanted to tell you to not buy anything from VitaRank because they suck. And so I don't usually typically badmouth somebody's service, but this one I want you guys to avoid VitaRank with at all costs, because they already started, and like now I'm going, oh shit, I don't want them to complete this service because they're doing such a spammy, shitty job that I'm afraid it's going to end up hurting my site. So I will never purchase another thing from VitaRank because of that. Just like they've already created, it's a U.S. based lead gen site, and a couple of the directory listings out of 20 that I purchased, plus like some press release and some other stuff, two of them were UK based directory sites, and then another one was a Singapore-based directory site. And I'm going, what the hell am I getting directory listings in Singapore and the UK for a U.S.-based company? You know what I'm saying? And then they created a duplicate listing on Yelp. I already had a Yelp listing, and now there's two, and it's like they're going to end up causing more damage than good, and that pisses me off because they shouldn't be doing. They should be checking to make sure that you're not listed on a directory before adding a new listing and all of that. So I highly recommend you stay away from them. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to just go through the slides real quick. We'll take a couple questions. For next week, guys, there's additional details. This is the stuff that I was going to talk about today. We don't have time to go through this today. We'll talk about it next week. We're going to talk about the monetization strategy. We'll talk a little bit more about growing in Google Plus circles and why that's important for instant SEO, and we'll talk about that next week. We don't have time now. Still to come, the blog posts haven't been done yet. I'm actually training another curator right now that I'm going to have assigned to this project. This will be her first project as a curator. And so as soon as she gets trained, she's going to do the curated posts. However, there's going to be slightly new direction because I'm already ranking well, guys. I don't really need the blog post to reinforce the Gainesville listing. So what I'm going to do is have the blog post target the Haymarket area, which is directly adjacent, because we're not ranked in Haymarket yet. So by adding kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, home remodeling posts targeting Haymarket, then I hope to rank those organically and possibly even in the maps. So that's going to be a slight different direction. Prospecting funnel, that's what we're going to start setting up between now and next week. Optional if needed, which I don't think we're going to need it. Press releases, FCS and GSA for citations, but again, Loganix is supposed to be covering that for me, and I don't think I'm going to need to do this, so I'm not going to throw money at it when I don't need to. More videos for generating traffic, don't think I'm going to need that because we're doing so well with organic maps already. And plus, once our organic ranking starts kicking in, I don't think we're going to need any more videos either. expense report, we just looked at that. Last, the goals for next week is to verify the Bing Maps listing, add posts for Haymarket, possibly, if my curator is trained by then. Prospecting funnel, I want to have that set up. And I contacted my VA that I use for scraping leads. They collect data for me to start mailing and sending I send cold traffic to a prospecting funnel. And I've got contacted my VA today and got him started on scraping lead lists for me, so that by the end of next week I can start sending sending out emails, video emails to drive people into the prospecting funnel. Okay, so that's what's up for next week. Any questions, Adam? Adam?
Nope. Yeah, I got to learn how to unmute myself. Okay. Just a quick one real quick here. Valerie was asking, wasn't there a premium reduced bounce rate plugin that we recommended? Is that the one not working? And I can't think of one that we recommended. So I didn't know if perhaps you knew.
Oh, no, I think, Valerie, you might be talking about the one called Zero Bounce. Maybe, if that's what you're talking about. Zero Bounce is a premium bounce plugin, but that one's actually a bit black hat. And what that does is if somebody tries to hit the back button, you can have that when they click the back button, it'll redirect them to any URL of your choice. So that will reduce bounce rate because it won't count as a bounce. Like if you select the redirect as another page on your site and somebody clicks the back button, then to analytics, excuse me, to Google Analytics, that's going to act as an action on site. It's going to count as an action on site, so it won't be counted as a bounce. That's a bit more black hat. It's not really part of it doesn't comply with their terms of service. I use it for like spam sites like SERPshaker and Lead Gadget style sites, but I wouldn't recommend it on a money site personally. That's the only one I know of. The other reduced bounce rate plugin is the one that I just talked about today, Rapid Ranker. The one that I talked about, I think, in training before that was a free plugin was called like Reduce Bounce Rate or Bounce Rate Reducer or something like that. And again, the code is placed by the plugin in the wrong place. And I verified that today by checking source code and everything else, and so I just stopped using it. So Rapid Ranker is the way to go, in my opinion now. It's very easy to set up, and it's quick, and with Max CDN integration, it'll take you like 15 or 20 minutes to set it up.
Cool.
Okay?
All right. Bob is asking for next time he would like to see your site's Google Page Speed Insights.
Well, Bob, just go to Page Speed Insights and go check it out. You got the URL of the site, right? It's GainesvilleVA.localhomepros.net. So you can go check it out. You're more than welcome to do it. Go look it out.
All right, and then he was following that up with regards to local citations. Isn't it best to wait until the big four aggregators have you listed?
No, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I get them done as soon as I can. Like I said, I've mentioned before, you could go to Moz Local, actually, and for like $85, they will submit you to those big data aggregators. But that takes that'll take like 90 days before before your data is actually like propagated through their networks, and I don't have 90 days to wait. You know what I mean? So I just go ahead and order citations as soon as I get the listing approved. The moment that I get the listing verified, I order citations and get those up, and then I'll wait in about 60 days or so. If I need to go submit to those, then I will. But in this case, I'm already ranked number 2 for most of my keywords, so I'm not going to need it.
Cool.
So I'm not going to spend the additional money.
All right, well, that's all the questions. I appreciate everyone. I know the audio's been a little funky today. We're aware of that, so we're going to take a look and see if we can do something about that, but thanks for bearing with it.
Yeah, hopefully the replay will be fine. It usually is. So. All right, guys, well, we'll see you all next week. If any residual questions, if you're in the mastermind, post them there. If you're in this group, just post them on the events page, and we'll get to them as soon as we can, okay?
Sounds
all right,
good.
guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Night, everybody.